So Boris Johnson may face a revolt, but in Argentina, a revolt is already underway. Thousands have taken to the streets of the capital. They're protesting against the country's soaring inflation. In fact, inflation may be a global problem right now, but in Argentina, it's part of everyday life, and it has been like that for years now. In 2021, the inflation rate was more than 50%. This year, it could cross 60%. What does this mean for Latin America's third largest economy? Our next report has all the details.
Welcome to Argentina, the land of football, tango, and uncontrollable inflation. Inflation here is a part of daily life. In the 80s, it went over 3,000%. Now the figure is slowly creeping up again. In the 1990s, Argentina incentivized foreign investment, it loosened trade barriers, and inflation was held under control. But there was just one problem: corruption. By the 2000s, corruption was rampant. It led to foreign investors fleeing the country. Even before the pandemic, Argentina's economy was struggling. After COVID-19 struck, things became far worse. Inflation was rising again. There were high unemployment levels and public finances were stretched to a breaking point. In the first 4 months of 2022, prices rose 23%. This includes a 6% jump in April. Things got so bad that people took to the streets. It is called Federal March for Work and Salaries.
More than 300,000 people are going to be in Plaza de Mayo at the local square to demand from the national government that there will be no more hunger, no more misery. We want genuine work, a living wage equal to the basic food basket. We clearly say no to the International Monetary Fund and no to the foreign debt payment.
40% of Argentines already live in poverty. The rest are struggling with the rising prices. Their demands are simple. They want jobs, they want security, and a living wage that can afford basic necessities.
Today, a typical family made up of 5 people must spend around 80,000 pesos to survive. We see that Argentines do not earn 80,000 pesos. They earn much less. So we are at a time in which the population is living below the poverty line, and many residents in Buenos Aires and the rest of the provinces are poor. This national march is to speak out on this.
The government has already sealed a deal with the IMF. This is to reschedule some $44 billion in debt. But the protesters have denounced this agreement. They want the money to be spent on Argentina's poorest. Their chant reflects this emotion. They say the debt is to the people. Inflation is raging everywhere in the world, but in Latin America it is the worst. This year, Argentina's inflation could soar over 60%, so things could get worse in the coming days.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.